Level 1. You are 27 years old. You have been dating her for 11 months. It's a Saturday evening in September. You are driving to her parents' house for the first time. The house is in a suburb you have never been to, about 40 minutes from the city where you both live. She told you, when she invited you to dinner, that her parents wanted to meet you. She told you the dinner would be casual. You spent the morning getting ready in a way you have never quite gotten ready before. You ironed a shirt for the first time in 2 years. You bought a new belt because the one you had was scuffed. You are wearing the watch your father gave you when you graduated college. You are nervous in the specific way that men have been nervous before meeting parents for centuries. You pull into the driveway. The house is bigger than you expected. It is not, by any objective measure, a mansion. The house has, perhaps, 4 bedrooms. The driveway is paved with stone instead of concrete. There is a small water feature near the front entrance. The lawn is maintained by someone other than the family. Inside, the house is decorated in a way that you immediately recognize as belonging to a family that has, for at least one generation, been comfortable. The furniture is not new. The furniture is also not from a chain store. The art on the walls is original. There is a small grand piano in the formal living room. You wonder, briefly, who plays it. Her father shakes your hand firmly and says it is a pleasure. Her mother greets you warmly. Her younger brother is friendly in the cautious way that younger siblings are friendly when they have not yet decided how they feel about their sister's boyfriend. Dinner is roast chicken with potatoes and a salad. The conversation is pleasant. Her father asks you about your job, about your family, about where you grew up. The questions are kind. The questions are also, you realize halfway through dinner, evaluative. Her father is, in a polite and careful way, determining whether you are the right fit for his daughter. This is the first thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The first thing is that the evaluation starts before you know you are being evaluated. Her family has been observing you, indirectly, for the 11 months you have been dating their daughter. They have heard about you from her. They have looked at the photographs she showed them. They have, in small ways, formed an impression. The dinner is the formal confirmation of an evaluation that has been quietly proceeding all along. You will not, sitting at this table on this Saturday evening, fail the evaluation. You are pleasant, intelligent, employed, and clearly fond of their daughter. You will, by the end of the evening, have passed an initial gate. You will not know, for several more months, how many gates there are. The verb at level 1 is enter. You have entered the family's awareness. They have entered yours. Level 2. You are 30. You are engaged to her. You bought the ring yourself, but her father helped. The ring is a 2-carat oval diamond set in platinum. Her father, when he learned you were planning to propose, took you to lunch and offered, in a way you could not refuse without insulting him, to introduce you to the family jeweler. The jeweler has, you have learned, served her family for 3 generations. The jeweler showed you several rings. You chose one within your budget. Her father, after you left the store, called the jeweler back and quietly upgraded the stone. You did not learn about this for 6 months. When you did learn, her father waved it off as a non-issue. You have been integrating into the family for 2 years now. You know her cousins. You have been to the family's summer house at the lake. You attended her grandfather's 80th birthday party, where you sat at the family table and were, formally, introduced as her significant other. You have, accumulated across hundreds of small interactions, become known. You have also learned the rules. The rules are not written down. The rules are observed and absorbed slowly. You learn that the family does not discuss money in front of outsiders, which means you, until recently, were an outsider. You learn that the family has specific opinions about the people the next generation marries. You learn that her uncle, who married someone the family did not approve of, has been quietly excluded from certain family decisions for the past 15 years. The exclusion is not announced. The exclusion is simply present. You have been told, by her father in a kind moment over scotch, that you are exactly the right kind of man for the family. You did not, at the time, fully understand what he meant. You understand now. The right kind of man is someone who comes from a stable background, who has his own career, who will represent the family well in public, and who will, when the time comes, raise children in a way that the family approves of. You meet these criteria. You are, by the family's standards, an acceptable match. This is the second thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The second thing is that families with wealth have, encoded in them, specific standards for who their members marry. The standards are not just about wealth. The standards include education, family background, religion, political views, social standing, and a long list of small specific cultural markers. The standards are enforced not through explicit rules, but through the slow social pressure of family approval and disapproval. You will, throughout the engagement, be quietly evaluated against these standards in ways you cannot always see. You will pass most evaluations. The passing is what allows the engagement to proceed. The verb at level 2 is align. You have aligned sufficiently with what the family expected. The alignment is the entire condition of the engagement. Level 3. You are 32. You have been married for 14 months. She has just been added to a family trust. You learned about the trust 4 months ago when her father took both of you to meet with the family attorney. The attorney was a senior partner at a firm you had never heard of. The firm, the attorney explained, had represented the family for 57 years. The attorney was the third generation of his family to handle these specific accounts. The trust holds approximately $22 million in various assets. The trust was established by her grandfather in 1979. The trust has, for 47 years, grown quietly through careful management and minimal distributions. The trust will, on her 35th birthday, begin distributing income to her at a rate of approximately $600,000 per year. You signed a prenuptial agreement before the wedding. The agreement was prepared by the same attorney. The agreement specified that, in the event of divorce, you would receive a fixed amount based on the length of the marriage, with no claim on the family trusts, the family real estate, the family business interests, or any inheritance she might receive. You signed the agreement because, at the time, you were marrying her for her, not for the trust. You still are, but you now understand, more clearly, what the trust represents. The trust represents the wall between you and the family's actual wealth. The wall is legal. The wall is also social. You will, throughout your marriage, never be a direct beneficiary of the family's primary structures. You will benefit from her income from the trust. You will live in homes that the family helps purchase. You will travel with the family on vacations that the family pays for. You will have a comfortable life. You will not, technically, own any of it. This is the third thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The third thing is that the legal structures are designed to keep wealth inside the family across generations. The structures are not personal. The structures are not directed at you specifically. The structures are the accumulated wisdom of generations of family members who watched, in other families, what happens when wealth is shared too freely with marrying-in spouses who later divorced. The structures protect against the worst case. The worst case is real. The structures stay in place even after you have proven, year by year, that you are not the worst case. The verb at level 3 is accept. Accept the structures. Accept what they mean. Accept that the wealth, technically, is not yours. Level 4. You are 37. Your wife has inherited a significant portion of the family fortune. The portion is approximately $40 million. The inheritance came after her father's death 6 months ago. The death was not unexpected. Her father had been declining for over a year. The family had time to prepare. The family had also, decades ago, structured the inheritance so that the transition would be smooth. Your wife received her share without significant tax complications, without family disputes, without the chaos that less prepared families experience when wealth transfers. You attended the funeral, sitting in the front row beside your wife. You wore a dark suit. You held her hand. You cried genuine tears for a man who had, over the 7 years of your marriage, become a kind of second father to you. You realized at the funeral, part of the family in a real way now. The other family members treated you with the warmth reserved for someone who has been present through difficulty. The $40 million has, you and your wife have decided together, been managed by the family's existing wealth advisors. You have not, despite occasional suggestions from outside friends, hired separate counsel. The reasoning is that the family advisors know the family situation, the family structures, and the family's long-term goals. Separate counsel would introduce friction. Friction would be expensive in ways that go beyond money. You have, since the inheritance, started to live differently in small ways. The lake house has been expanded. The vacation house in Europe has been renovated. The children, who are now 4 and 6, are enrolled in a private school that costs $40,000 a year per child. The school is the school that your wife attended, that her father attended, and that her grandfather helped to establish. This is the fourth thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The fourth thing is that, at this level, you have crossed into a different version of yourself than the one who drove to that first dinner 7 years ago. The crossing was gradual. The crossing happened through hundreds of small decisions, each of which seemed reasonable at the time. The accumulation of the decisions has produced a life that is dramatically different from the life you would have had otherwise. You did not, at any point, consciously choose this transformation. The transformation happened around you and through you. You are, by any external measure, wealthy now. You are also, technically, still subject to the prenuptial agreement signed 9 years ago. The verb at level 4 is transform. You have transformed. The transformation is complete. Level 5. You are 43. You have been married for 15 years. Your wife's family is one of the older established families in the region. The region is the eastern seaboard of the United States. The family has, over the course of about 120 years, accumulated wealth through a combination of early industrial success, careful real estate investments, and patient stewardship across 4 generations. The family is not on any public list of the wealthiest families. The family does not appear in business publications. The family does not give interviews. The family is, in the way that older established American wealth is, deliberately invisible. You have, over the 15 years of your marriage, become an active participant in the family's quieter activities. You sit on the board of 2 charitable foundations. You attend events that the family attends. You have, through repeated exposure, become known to a small set of other families with similar backgrounds. The set is small. The set is also surprisingly tight-knit. You know the men who matter, in this specific small world, by name. They know you. You have also, by this point, traveled with the family in ways that have made the geography of wealth visible to you. The summer in Europe, the winter in the Caribbean, the fall in the mountains, the spring in the city. Each location has, you have learned, a small specific community of similar families who circulate through similar properties at similar times of year. The communities are real. The communities have rules. You are, in your 40s, in business and social relationships with men you would not have known existed in your 20s. The men are, in many cases, also men who married in. They share with you, in moments of unusual honesty over drinks at the club, observations about the experience of marrying into established families. The observations are sometimes wry. The observations are sometimes painful. The observations are almost always specific. The common theme is that nobody warned them about what the actual experience would be. This is the 5th thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The 5th thing is that, at the established family level, you have become part of a small recognizable class. The class has its own internal communications. The class has its own internal hierarchies. The class is not, despite appearances, monolithic. There are old families and newer families. There are families with significant continuing wealth and families with declining wealth. There are families on the rise and families on the decline. The internal politics of this small world are intricate. You know the politics now. The knowing is what marks you as fully integrated. The verb at level 5 is belong. You belong, now, in this specific small world. Level 6. You are 51. Your family is connected, through 3 generations of marriages, to one of the historically prominent American families. The connection happened through your wife's grandmother, who was the cousin of a woman who married into a family whose name appears in American history textbooks. The connection is, in any direct legal sense, minimal. The connection is, in social terms, significant. You are now, through marriage, related to people whose ancestors signed historical documents, whose names appear on streets, whose family foundations have funded universities. The relationship is not advertised. Members of the historically prominent family do not, generally, draw attention to their lineage. They live, mostly, like ordinary very wealthy people. They send their children to specific schools. They live in specific neighborhoods. They participate in specific cultural institutions. The historical name, while present in their lives, is something they manage carefully rather than wear openly. You have, through the connection, met members of the historically prominent family at family events. You have been invited to their homes. You have, on 2 occasions, attended weddings where the historical name was visible on the wedding programs. The weddings were, in the way that these things are, both ordinary and extraordinary. The ordinariness was the food, the music, the speeches. The extraordinariness was the small specific awareness that everyone present carried about who was who. Your children, who are now teenagers, are growing up with a different understanding of their place in the country than you had at their age. They know, in ways they cannot fully articulate yet, that their family is connected to something larger than the family itself. They will, when they are older, make decisions about how much to engage with this larger thing. Some will engage fully. Some will move away from it deliberately. The choice will be theirs. This is the 6th thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The 6th thing is that, at the historically prominent family level, the wealth is no longer the primary asset. The name is the asset. The connections are the asset. The access to specific institutions, specific people, specific opportunities is the asset. The money matters, but the money is no longer what defines the family's position. The verb at level 6 is inherit. You have, through your children, become part of a lineage. The lineage will continue past you. The continuation is the actual achievement of the marriage. Level 7. You are 58. Your son is engaged to a member of a European royal family. The engagement happened, in the way these things now happen, through the slow accumulation of overlapping social circles. Your son spent his junior year of college in Europe. He met her through mutual friends at a university event. They dated quietly for 3 years. The relationship became known to both families gradually. The families approved gradually. The engagement was announced last month, in a discreet press release that mentioned no specific date. The European royal family is one of the smaller continental royal families. The family does not, in the modern era, hold meaningful political power. The family does, however, hold significant property, significant ceremonial position, and significant cultural weight in its country. The family is also, through centuries of intermarriage, connected to most of the other European royal families and to several prominent American families through historical alliances. Your son will, when he marries, become a prince in the technical sense. He will receive a title. He will have specific ceremonial duties. He will be expected to represent the family at certain events. He will also, in his daily life, live mostly like a very wealthy young man in a European city, with the specific difference that his ordinary daily life will be photographed by occasional paparazzi who follow the royal family. You have, over the past year, met the king. You have met the queen. You have been to the palace, which is smaller than you expected but more historically dense. You have been treated, by the royal family, with the warmth reserved for the future in-laws of their daughter's chosen partner. The warmth is genuine. The warmth is also formal in ways that ordinary American families do not understand. The formality is the entire texture of the relationship. This is the 7th thing nobody tells you about marrying into money. The 7th thing is that, at the highest levels, marriage becomes a connection between institutions rather than between individuals. The institutions have histories that long predate the individuals. The institutions will continue long after the individuals are gone. The individuals are, in a meaningful sense, current representatives of the institutions who happen to also be in love with each other. The love is real. The institutional dimension is also real. Your son understands this. He has chosen this with eyes open. He loves her. He also accepts that loving her means participating in something larger than the two of them. The verb at level 7 is represent. Your family now represents, through marriage, a connection to something that operates by its own rules across centuries. The payoff. So let's pull this together. At level 1, enter. The first dinner where you become known to the family. At level 2, align. The standards you meet without knowing they are standards. At level 3, accept. The legal structures that keep the wealth inside the family. At level 4, transform. The crossing into a different version of yourself. At level 5, belong. The small recognizable class you are now part of. At level 6, inherit. The lineage your children are now part of. At level 7, represent. The institutional connection that marriage becomes at the highest level. Here is the thing nobody on YouTube will tell you about marrying into money. Marrying into money is not a transaction. The framing of marrying into money as a calculated decision is mostly a fantasy of outsiders. The actual experience, for almost everyone who lives it, is a gradual accumulation of small transitions, each of which felt natural at the time. The transitions add up to a transformation. The transformation is real. The transformation is also rarely the thing the person consciously sought. The men who marry into established wealth, in almost every case, married the person, not the wealth. The wealth came as a consequence. The wealth shaped the relationship in ways the man did not anticipate. The wealth produced complications the man did not expect. The wealth also produced a life that, on balance, most men who lived it would not trade for the alternative. If you are watching this video and you have considered the abstract idea of marrying into money, the message is that the idea is rarely the reality. The reality is dinners with her father, prenuptial agreements, family advisors, slow integration over decades, and the gradual realization that you have, without making any single dramatic decision, ended up in a different life than the one you started in. If you are watching this video as someone who has lived this, the message is that you are not alone. The small specific experiences you have had, the ones that felt unspeakable, are shared by every other man who has done what you have done. The class is real. The class includes you now. Somewhere right now, a 27-year-old is driving to meet her parents for the first time. He has ironed his shirt. He is wearing his father's watch. He is nervous. He does not know, sitting behind the wheel of his car, that this dinner is the first level of a ladder that, if he stays on it, will end somewhere he cannot currently imagine. The ladder has 7 levels. Most men never get past level 1. If this video changed how you think about love, marriage, and money, hit subscribe. We have more videos like this on the channel, each one breaking down a different path that wealth takes through lives and across generations. See you in the next one.